Dire team ban.
Invoker.
Dire team pick.
Zeus.
Bang.
Vega Squadron's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Vengeful spirit.
Vega Squadron's turn to ban. Dire team ban.
How's it going, man? I am really excited for this game. I've been looking at Team Spirit's drafts, and I've been, it's always fun to touch in and see what God Black's doing. From the beginning of the patch, where he was the one to kind of pioneer the Iron Talon 4 position, to just what they were able to bring to the Shanghai Major Qualifier. Team Spirit's always been a pleasure to watch, but more recently, their drafts have been kind of had some inconsistencies, and I've been thinking about it. And essentially, what I'm looking at is this: he's looking at a lot of his more recent games against maybe some relatively lower tier teams, and look at them as kind of glorified scrims where they get to try to do stuff out, they try to hammer out a strategy, and I don't think that's the kind of drafting we're going to be seeing in this game in particular. They put some respect for Vega Squadron. Obviously, it'd be great for them to take this win and take first place, so I think that we're going to be seeing a bit of a different style, maybe something closer to what they brought against Na'Vi over a week ago, and that definitely is going to be like this kind of formulaic, get a good laning configuration with a good mid-game damage output. Put Ramses on a carry that can bring tempo instead of farm, because the more he farms, I feel like Ramses is one of the strongest safe lane carriers in Europe when it comes to just getting involved in fights. He loves to just play like a Ursa or Chaos Knight and just get in your face, but when it comes to farming and spreading the map and making the really tough decisions, it's not as if you compare him to all the other mid carries in Europe, then he's probably like halfway down the list. Like, he's not really known for his farming. He's not really known for his really good plays of split pushing. He really just wants to get involved, and so they're probably going to be stacking for him a little bit here on this Fen, but man, he's going to be looking for fights.
Ten seconds remaining.
Oracle.
Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Yeah, it really comes down to whether or not they can finish to the job with Oracle's combo here, because a lot of times Enchantress's movement speed advantage is going to make it so that it's really difficult to get the purge effect on her at the exact time you want. So if you try to go for the Fortunes and Purifying Flames combo, and then you maybe mess up the timing. It just doesn't work out. You got suddenly got to give her a heal, and with a heal over time effect plus the nature's attendance plus the untouchable, it's going to be almost impossible to bring her down. So it's either going to be sunstrikes that have to be perfectly synced up with magic missiles, or I think Enchantress is going to have to be caught out of position. So Afterlife might just go for like boots first on the Enchantress just to enable that movement speed and make it so that he can stay away from both the Oracle and the Jug. And from there, obviously, still Vega win the lane, but yeah, you get some good spawns, and Enchantress still gets her own bit of CS as well as gets to fight back against the supports. At the very least, she can keep
Vega
them bottom and
squadrons
keep them
turn
away
to
from
ban.
Zeus mid.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Ten seconds remaining.
So going into this last pick
5
here to kind of
seconds
round
remaining.
things out, I mean, we could see
Disruptor.
Godblack play the Vayne. He's played it plenty, but we're going to be seeing the other support
Vega
be the
squadrons
Disruptor,
turn
and they
to
do have a bit of a AoE combo going for themselves now. I mean, you get them caught inside the kinetic field, you're naturally going to be bumping up a bit. Juggernaut still doesn't have too many issues against Disruptor. He's actually one of my favorite carry picks against Disruptor because you can always spin the glimpse and you don't have to like force a BKB charge every time he gets one spell on you. So there's some definite value of the Juggernaut against the Disruptor, but obviously, the main thing for the Disruptor here is just to set up the Sven to stay on target. He
10
doesn't have to go
seconds
for as many
remaining.
repositioning items, and he's just going to be able to go in and wail away.
5 seconds
The Invoker
remaining.
obviously can be quite vulnerable to Disruptor in particular, so unless there's a Ven swap behind him,
Reserve
I
time.
expect a few kills going against no one, and that's going to give Team Spirit some momentum. But I'm really going to be interested in the warding game here from Vega Squadron. Like you said, there's a lot of incentive to block off that offlaner's secret chop hard camp, and then beyond that, we talked about the Ancients, which are right next door. So I feel like from not just the minute 1, but closer to minute 10, minute 15, the wards in that general vicinity around the Dire Ancients and north of it are going to be just extremely valuable for Vega if they can pull them off. And I'm sure Team Spirit, recognizing that, will try to at least keep tabs on where they're placed so the Zeus can bolt it down.
Tide Hunter.
Give Vega a bit of a clearer timing window though of when they want to attack. Like before, it was like, okay, well, the Juggernaut, the Invoker, they can fight at an almost any time period, but they're gonna kind of prefer to farm. They're a little bit more defensive. While the Sven looks to take the fight to them, they're much more about, okay, well, I'll get my Midas going on, I'll get some Battle Fury farm going on. Now they actually have a clear incentive of when to start actually taking objectives for themselves with this Tide. They're going to be playing around this Ravage cooldown, and if it gets off, then I mean they have a lot of potential value and just kind of going forward, looking for the initiation, follow through with the physical damage, and it shouldn't be too difficult. So with that in mind, like there obviously are some good spells to disable the Tide. There's still the Nightmare, there's still the Static Storm, and those could be quite frustrating Tidehunter in the team fights, but I mean the most important thing is just that Team Spirit have reason to be afraid of the cooldown until Sven gets his
30
BKB,
seconds to
and
battle.
yeah, it just gives Vega a good timing window. The reasons I don't like the Tide, other than the disables, is really just how little it does to Sven and Zeus in terms of their damage output. Those guys don't rely on their base damage at all. Sven is all about God Strength, which almost completely nullifies Anchor Smash. Wow.
First blood.
As indeed, I am first in everything.
Yours the last of my kind. I take my offerings, burn.
Yeah, usually don't look at Sven as squishy, but level 1 he's not going to have Warcry. They can kind of focus him down, and the Sunstrike was very much on point. So the kinetic field was great, and it could have just corralled them all into death really quickly. But I feel like Vega had the right response of just saying, okay, well, we're trapped. We might as well focus somebody down, and was the one who presented himself most readily. But now look at this. With Godblack having that bounty rune, as well as participating in 2 kills, suddenly he's level 2. Suddenly he's just dueling it out with the Invoker, and if Iceberg was level 2, he's 1 creep off. If that creep had died a little bit faster and they timed that out better, I think that definitely could have been a kill on the Invoker. I mean, you give the bottle sip to the Bane for a brain sap, you hit up with both the Lightning Bolt and the Arc Lightning, that is absolutely a kill, but I'm just going to go for the static, and it looks like Godblack's going to start roaming.
Around my neck.
Fish before bedtime will give you bad dreams.
Struck down in my pride.
We're even seeing a little bit of a wraparound here from Solo on the Oracle, trying to find something on the bottom lane. If he can get in position for a really good Fortune's End, maybe that's something, but he just kind of moves right up by, gives him a pat on the back, and otherwise they're just kind of resetting the lanes. But still a great gank on the mid, getting the damage they needed on the Zeus, and obviously Iceberg is very experience dependent, so if the Invoker is getting some really levels, oh my gosh,
Oh, no.
that's not how that was supposed to happen.
Alright, Bane picks up the haste and picks up the quick kill. I was hoping to be able to show top lane because this is something that, remember that whole like more suicidal era of offlaners where, you know, it was just kind of expected you would die a lot. But one of the big things about your deaths is that you wanted to be able to burn through regen. And I feel like we're almost going back to that, where it's very important for these offlaners, despite the introduction of Iron Talon, to stay in their lane and keep the supports there as much as possible. And when you do die, to be able to come back with an advantage in regen. And this is something that Mag is very well set up to now. With his boots, still has 5 tangos in his inventory as well as a Fairy Fire. He can actually sit really far forward in this lane, and it's going to require the Bane to come back to lane to shut him out.
Especially with like the new 0-3-2 build with the extra point and crackage shell there, you're able to soak up so much heat from the opposition. You're able to really just stay on top of enemy supports without nearly as much fear. That like they already had a hard time bringing them down with 2 volleys of spells last time, but you add in just like that extra little bit of beefiness, and it actually is almost impossible. He soaks up so much damage, but obviously when Sven closes on 6, that's when you gotta keep your distance no matter what. So I do like this Dire Observer ward though. It will set up opportunities maybe for Godblack to go in, and worst case they get the glimpse. So it looks like Mag will test his durability here.
They made sure to get the stun immediately, and Anchor Smash will come a bit slow, but it is going to be enough to save them, especially with Sion the Slayer making his TP in, not allowing any more right clicks to come out from Ramses. So that'll be a good escape there from Mag. Nice rotation as well. But this is just allowing Afterlife to prove himself in lane against an Oracle Juggernaut. We already seen how they just don't seem to have enough damage without the extra magic missile stun and just extra nuking power. Seems like Afterlife is going to be able to play very far forward in this lane as well. So both offlaners should be doing alright.
Yeah, very just naturally tanky with their abilities here. We're going to see them try for it anyways. They do get to purge off the Purifying Flames, but they're going to see the Magic Stick and that Nature's Attendants to be enough for Afterlife to get away, and now actually going to try to turn it. Needs to kill off that healing board, will succeed, and that's a lot of health taken off of both Posh and Solo as a result of one auto attack. But yeah, in general, it's going to be like these all players just trying to figure out the best way to trade and just not only wear their opponents down, but just to continue to suck up more and more. But Afterlife still persisting on the lane. He's going to probably rely on his next Nature's Attendants, and then when he gets his next cooldown of Nature's Attendants, he can start actually manning up on the Oracle.
Ooh, another Sunstrike, always going to fly, is going to be picked off. See how the Slayer managed to find him in a awkward position. He was just laying down the counter ward, trying to get a rotation onto mid. This is about the time where you need to really help out your Zeus. He's quite under-leveled compared to the Invoker. He's a full level and a half behind.
So now we're going to actually see Oracle have to TP all the way back to the Fountain. He can't hold against the Enchantress, and this is as Afterlife is not only approaching level 5, but soon enough level 6. If Afterlife can get himself a good mana pool when he hits 6 and start poking back at the Juggernaut, he can start very directly contesting this lane. Right now, Juggernaut is the top CS at 38, while this Sven only has 33, so any favors he can do to Ramses in this kind of carry versus carry game is going to be very important. That being said, we are going to be seeing most likely a smoke between the Venge and the Oracle here to try to pick up the Enchantress once and for all.
Oh, it's on cooldown for another 25 seconds. So it looks like Sioma is just going to get some sort of secret shop ward. Of course, this is being pinged out right now by Team Spirit. They did see it thanks to this ward, which is just about to expire. They shouldn't be able to catch the Enchantress. Afterlife sitting relatively far back. He needs a little bit more time to get his heal off. We'll be able to get it, but still the stun, as well as the Sunstrike to follow up, is going to allow them to overwhelm Bambi's HP. Not sure what he was thinking there, seeing as they knew that the Vengeful Spirit was going around. There was a high chance that they were going to make the full rotation behind the tower to catch him.
Yeah, I guess he just made too many assumptions there, and he's like, okay, well, I could do this much. I'm an Enchantress. I can annoy the hell out of people, but when you have that much spell-based damage flying out against you, there's almost nothing you can do. So he just underestimated what Team Spirit or what Vega were looking to do there, and they didn't even have to get a smoke out to kill off the Enchantress. Like you said, that ward will probably be taken care of, but it made me actually go over and look at this Zeus's build. He's actually built 2-1-2 with only 1 point in Lightning Bolt until level 7. And the haste rune just, perfect timing from no one, goes in as the haste rune expires and just annihilates him and Goblak too.
Yeah, Mag had that kind of setup, who's sitting in the trees earlier as they made the initiation onto Zeus, and this is just Vega Squadron controlling the game out right now. You've got a free farming Ramses, but you know, that's really not a big deal. He's trying to push down the tower, but ultimately this is going to make little difference when you just look at the mid comparison and how drastically far ahead no one is getting.
So, right now in this lane, like, it seems like the Invoker has just had the time of his life. He's 48-12 against Zeus's 37-8. Now he's found himself 3-0-3. A lot of that Sunstrikes globally, but like, do you feel like that's on the Zeus a little bit here? He got some help on the Bane early. It's very frustrating for the Invoker just in that capacity alone. But then the Zeus doesn't even go 2 points in Lightning Bolt. So he very clearly wasn't harassing the Invoker back. Do you feel like he should have been putting a little bit more pressure here on no one?
You know, I almost feel like this is one of those matchups where you do have to go for early levels of Lightning Bolt to get the max amount of power you can out of your level 7 Zeus. It's one of those, I think it's just the matchup in general, is that you are going to lose a matchup against Invoker as Zeus most likely, but you're still going to be able to pick up farm, and that's just kind of what you have to focus on, is just getting those last hits with Arc Lightning. But I think if you invest too much of your skill build, you know, the old Sumail build where you go 2, 1, and 1 into static field, that allows you to be able to get the range creep every I think that's too much of an investment due to the fact that the Invoker's really going to start pressuring you around level 7, level 8, and you need to be able to, with the rotation from a support, have the power to kill him.
That's what I was most worried about. It's like, he means that Always Wanna Fly and Goblok pretty much have to be hands-off on the lane. They don't really get to be directly involved. Nightmare setups won't really lead to as much when you have so little Lightning Bolt. And then just, maybe he went for this deviation because of the fact that he didn't get the Boundary Rune, and he was actually experience deprived from the beginning of the game, but I'm not sold 100% if this was the right way to go with the matchup. Now, at least he's level 8. He's got pretty much everything he'd want, and he's going to be working towards that Ether Lens very quickly. So it's, in the end, he's still going to be putting out this good mid-game damage, but it just feels like he did fall short a little bit here in the lanes.
That regen will be taken away by those obnoxious Forge Spirits, and no one, just for good measure, is going to make sure that the runes do not get picked up by Zeus this time around. He takes the Bounding Rune, Sioma's Slayer will grab the Invis at bottom, which means that no one is, I should say, nobody on Team Spirit is likely to contest this bottom tier 1. It'd be dangerous. You don't know if Sioma the Slayer's made his wraparound again. So Afterlife doesn't push it too far. Gonna wait for the creep wave to push into him.
And that's the dead Enchantress. This is actually becoming more and more difficult.
I literally just, like, looked away from the lane, expecting him, like, okay, he'll be fine, and then as I click away, he swapped.
Swapped,
So.
dead. Just per easy peasy combo. It's I don't know. It just seems like Afterlife doesn't have a really good read on Vega's movements here, and this many times the Enchantress goes down, it actually is a really big deal. Like one death, you know, every offlaner, even an Enchantress, could be susceptible. Oh, we're actually gonna be seeing a glimpse back here. So TV support from the Oracle as the ultimate can't get it off in time. Is no false promise for him, and even that he was in quite a pickle as Ramses pops the ultimate just to make sure.
Good setup there from Always Wanna Fly, recognizing the opportunity, calling for his teammates. You know, you gotta rotate, we gotta punish this Tidehunter, especially since they just put 3 on that gank on bottom for the Enchantress. We need to try and even this game out a bit more. 11 minutes in, and Vega Squadron do have a significant lead, though, over 4,000 gold lead and about 3,000 experience.
I mean, they get to, with the Midas Invoker and the potentially Battle Fury Juggernaut, we just see drums for now. We'll see actually what he actually progresses towards directly, but I feel like Vega are just able to outgreed their opponents as long as they keep this ward up. That's the most important thing. Is you mentioned that they saw the Venge rotate up and they saw the ward disappear, but maybe that just caught up in maybe a lane matchup or caught up in something else, they lost focus of that, and that ward has stayed. So they know the Ancients, and they're going to look at contest.
Gonna try and go for the pickoff here on no one. Glimpse him back into the Fiend's Grip. This should be an easy kill. Mag can't really be there in time for the Ravage unless he can. He gets off the stun before Iceberg can pop no one, and no one's actually gonna be able to get away.
Oh, I
That's
can't
so
believe
disastrous.
I cannot believe that. That's insane. Just
You know
him
what that
barely.
is?
Don't tell me Lightning Bolt. Don't tell me Lightning Bolt.
Not having maxed out Lightning Bolt might have been a bit of an issue.
Why do you? Is it a misclick to go for level 2 static field? Like, I don't even know.
I'm sure it's got to be some sort. I don't think that there's any build where you go 2-0-2 lane or whatever that was. 2-2-1-2. I'm not sure.
Yeah, 2-1-2. That's something. I don't know, but at this point, it's just it's starting to get out of hand. They're missing little bits of damage here and there. The Invoker just slightly too tanky. Obviously, the 4 Quas helps them out in that build up. So the Forge Spirit not only good for farming, but it gives you a good all-around set of stats. He's got plenty of strength to work with here, but yeah, it's just in this position now where if they screw up this Ancient stack, I feel like Team Spirit are running out of options quickly. They have to take this down fast because as soon as Vega run in to stop this, they've got the Tidehunter coming in with Anchor Smash, and when he's able to take the Ancients, if they win the fight, that's just it's a disaster for Spirit.
Oh, good static storm. That's going to be able to lock down both support. Solo's trying to get himself through the trees. They will be able to go immediately on Iceberg, though, and what a meatball comes in, takes out Ramses. They're going to be able to go for a little bit more here as the supports are now running themselves away, but Mag has the Gush ready to go in 4 seconds time. He just blinks forward, though, hits the Anchor Smash, and they get a 3-for-1 special there. What started off seemingly a good static storm didn't quite fully catch the Oracle, and Iceberg, namely, that was the biggest issue. He got caught on the left-hand side, and that just meant he got Omni-Slashed by the Juggernaut. They had no hope. And this is the entire linchpin, as you were saying, Blaze. This is the whole entire way that Team Spirit was going to be able to stay in this game, was through that Ancient stack, and now that's completely gone.
Yep, they stacked up a house of cards, and here one little bit gust blows, and down it crumbles. But we're gonna see Afterlife at least try to punish this, but pinpricks of damage coming out from the impetus strikes, and they can't follow through with enough. Godblack will go for the ultimate here, but immediately the swap out gets Posh free. It's gonna be Sioma that sacrifices himself, and they'll kind of move on from there. Sioma still alive for the moment, but I guess Rush to die is the best he can hope for, and in fact it might have cost Solo his life too. The Kinetic and the Nightmare locking him in place there. Battle on multiple fronts there. Gonna lose the Zeus somehow in the process. And this Venge will go down in the Roshan, and Solo will not go down. They're gonna ravage this.
Alright, they actually want to try and save Solo with Pasha coming in from the side. They're easily going to be able to get the Bane and running forward. Sounds that the Meatball goes down. Ramsey's already very low HP. No one sitting on the side. Always want to fly. I'm not sure what he's trying to do here, but he battles up against no one. He's not going to be able to do anything there. The Enchantress did manage to get away, and so will Ramsey's, but...
Oh, no!
Sunstrike! Oh, no! Oh, it just goes from bad to worse.
Oh my gosh. First Noah getting the Zeus in the middle. I'm not sure what Iceberg was trying to do there, but he gets caught, and I'm assuming just cold snap forward spirit down while the rest of the fight is going on the bottom rune. And then no one is able to finish the fight as well with that Sunstrike. So the Ravage actually was kind of a weird commitment at that particular moment, because it was as much like a zoning and taking pieces out of the fight more than it was just doing the stun and doing the damage directly, but it accomplished what it needed to. They were able to really separate Spirit in that engagement. They were able to get a bunch of damage in, and they don't just get the Zeus and the Disruptor, they get the Sven as well. So already leading in a massive kill advantage of 15-7, but also, of course, getting that Ancient stack away from the Sven, which is really the way that Sven gets built. I mean, right now, this guy has 5.7 net worth. That is barely above the Tidehunter.
They're going to jump on Iceberg here. He actually throws down his ultimate, and an Omni Slash will be able to finish him off in the end. But Team Spirit just keeps getting punished over and over again. You know, I'm not sure how you feel about Team Spirit, but I haven't had a whole lot of confidence. Like, since their qualifier, like, that was a great run and everything else, but it just seems to have gone downhill from there. I cannot see them being a strong team at the actual event at this.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna see Godblack get jumped on here, gonna be able to get the swap, and they will try to set up a really next level Sunstrike, but the Nightmare will delay it, and Oracle will pick up the kill. But yeah, in general, it's that team that, like, I kind of look at them like Fnatic Europe back a while when that was a team. Like, it's just a team that I really want to succeed, but doesn't seem to be clicking in the way they need to make things work. We're gonna see Afterlife get cold snap, so he will be going down as well. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of potential for Team Spirit. Their drafter has always impressed me. Godblack is a legend. And then individually, like, each of these players seem to bring a lot to the table, but just as a whole team unit, it just doesn't seem to ever click well enough to do more than to beat up the tier 2s.
Roshan time. Team Spirits only have 4 up, but honestly, I feel like this is their... You can't let Roshan go, but at the same time, it seems that you can't fight. I almost think you kind of have to force this fight and hope you get, like, a really sick Static Storm, because the ultimate goes down from the Zeus. They are going to try and fight this one, but Roshan's already dead. They've got the Aegis, and now there's no point for Team Spirit. In fact, Mag, he's going to try and counteract them. He managed to get the Gush on the Goldblack, which will earn a kill there. So as soon as Team Spirit start thinking about stopping the Roshan attempt, Roshan dies, and they end up getting caught on their way out.
So, I mean, this is just Vega contesting and controlling all of the objectives with the Tide pick. Like, although, like I said, the Tide pick has drawbacks, in general, it's just done massive work because of how strong this 150-second cooldown is and how easy it is to play around it. So, every time they have that, they go in, they take a fight. They didn't need the Ravage to take the Ancients just because they already had a lot of confidence in their net worth and in their general team play, but just every single time there's something that they need to take, whether it's the tier 1 tower, whether it's the enemy's Ancients, whether it's the Roche itself. Vega just have so much confidence because they have the team potential at every stage, and part of this comes down to the fact that Zeus has been putting out less damage than generally ever would. Oh, Godblack just gone. No one blinks, drops the Forge, and that proxy pilot is able to just obliterate his support.
Oh, they're also going to be able to get Afterlife because the Omni Flash goes down. The Meteor is going to be dropped. It does clip Ramses. That'll be enough damage to get the kill there. The Static Storm is laid out, but Always Want to Fly is going to be forced back to the fountain, and there's the call from Iceberg, but shortly before it dies, as Team Spirit knows that this was just a massacre. Might as well call it early, because there is no hope of coming back in a game like this.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to, I would say, how the solo lanes played out. The Zeus just got wrecked by the Invoker, where it should have been a lot closer, and they even should have gotten one extra kill against the Invoker. He's 8-0-10. That would have been at least, if not a kill streak, then 3 kills, momentum back the other way. Team Spirit also lost the Enchantress a lot of times, 0-4-5, just trying to build up tankiness. And obviously, Vega had a pretty decent lineup to punish her, but we were talking about it early. If she had boots, she should be able to kind of skirt around that and not have as much difficulty. The last thing would be the ward game, and it really comes down to exactly one observer ward. They missed out on dewarding because they didn't actually bring Zeus over to lightning bolt it. They just